What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, another fantastic evening of women's basketball, and I'm going to break it all down to you. And we got a whole lot more in today's show. So, Quita in the Morning for Thursday, June the 12th, starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
I still can't get over the song. I just love it. I love the song. Anyway, get ready, because, we got a great show talking about the games it was. And here's the thing, guys. Yesterday we saw 3 games happen, and they all happened at the same time. And if you were like me, you probably watched all of those games in multi-view. So I had the sound of the Dallas and Mercury game going on while I had all 3 games on my screen. And we were watching it, having a good time, seeing some fantastic performances. Ultimately, guys, let me break down the score real quick of the games, and then we'll go into detail. So the Los Angeles Sparks ended up beating the Las Vegas Aces 97-89. We saw the Phoenix Mercury take down the Dallas Wings 93-80. And we saw the Seattle Storm take down the previously undefeated Minnesota Lynx 94-84. Okay, let's get into my commentary. So, you all know the phrase, or the song, I should say, They Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, right? In that song, he says, sometimes you gotta pop off and show, we'll go with people. All right, sometimes you gotta pop off and show people. And last night, that was Paige Bueckers. That was Rickea Jackson. That was Erica Wheeler. To a lesser extent, that was Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young. Players who have heard the noise around them, players who have felt the doubt, and then said, you know what? Watch this. All right, so guys, let's go through your WNBA midweek madness recap. I'm gonna call it that, because we got some statement games and some statement dubs to talk about. All right, first up, we got to talk about Paige freaking Bueckers. Let's talk about the rookie who is already rewriting the record books right now. Paige Bueckers, after missing several games straight with a concussion and an illness, Paige Bueckers returned to the basketball court, and in warm-ups, she's looking really, really good at warm-ups, making just about every single shot. And then when the game actually started, wow, oh, wow. She did her thing yesterday, looking like she did not miss a beat. And Dallas Wings fans, I mean, y'all got y'all number 1 pick back, and you got her at the best version of herself. I'm talking 35 points, guys. 35 points for Paige Bueckers. She was on fire yesterday. I wish we had some like real-time video game like overlays when it comes to basketball games, because like she should have been running down the court with like a flame emoji behind her. She was on fire yesterday. 35 points, and she did it so efficiently. 13 of 19 from the field. She shot 5 of 7 from the 3. She ultimately also finished with 6 rebounds and 4 assists as well. She did her thing. Efficient, electric, and she looked pretty unbothered. Didn't really matter what the Phoenix Mercury was doing in terms of defensive wise. She was still able to get to her spots and make some stuff work. Now, unfortunately for her, the rest of the team was not able to do the same thing, and they ultimately end up getting the loss. But Paige Bueckers, fantastic freaking game. Fantastic game. But the Phoenix Mercury, they were like, yeah, sure, Paige, you want to have a good night, whatever. we're not about to be a footnote to your game. We're not about to have that happen. We are about to show up because this is a game that is a reunion type of game for Satou Sabally. Remember, guys, Satou Sabally was on the Dallas Wings last year. Now she is no longer on this team. And sometimes when you're playing against your former team, you're like, hey, nah, I gotta give a little extra. I gotta give a little extra oomph because we need to take down this team. We need to take them down. And Satou Sabally showed up and showed out in yesterday's game as well. Of course, she had significantly more help than Paige Bueckers had, but 20 points for Satou Sabally, 7 of 15 from the field. She ultimately was this close to having a double-double. She had 9 rebounds in yesterday's game, and she just looked really good. Yes, she kept getting fouls, and yes, there was at the end of the game, her and Dejanay Carrington was getting into it a little bit, which I thought was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny because, hey, during the 40 minutes of the game and also including a little bit after that, you don't like your opponent, okay? And so I don't mind that competitive fire not one bit. I actually enjoy it. I actually think it's fun. But Satou Sabally did her thing, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Phoenix Mercury. They are in a lot of ways, a complete roster. This is a team that is filled with a lot of unknown players, definitely, in terms of like the players who are like getting a huge amount of the minutes because Kahleah Copper has not played a game this year. She's still hurt. We saw the return of AT, but like a lot of the Phoenix Mercury squad is relatively unknown people who continue to show up and show out. I'm talking about people like Maddie Westbelt's sister, Catherine Westbelt, who is in the starting lineup, and she dropped an efficient 11 points yesterday. Right? I'm talking about Latska, the rookie, the 29-year-old rookie, who had a fantastic game yesterday, including knocking down 4 3-point shots. She had 14 points. She can do pull-ups. She can make those shots happen. And that was huge for Phoenix yesterday. I'm talking about Lexi Held, who ultimately also dropped 11 points in yesterday's game. Now, she's also another rookie on this team that has had some pretty good games, right? The game against Dallas was not her best game so far this season. Her best game was a couple of games ago against the Golden State Valkyries, when Held had 24 points. But yesterday, again, the support players for the Phoenix Mercury just make this team as a whole look really, really good. So yes, Satou Sabally, of course, leads the charge for this squad, but you got everybody else who is doing a little bit here and a little bit there. And also Musa, yo, I like her. I like her a lot. She had 7 points in yesterday's game. I think she's a gritty person who she's just going to get the job done. And she's not going to back down from a challenge. And I like that about her a lot. I like that about the majority of these Phoenix Mercury players. And fantastic news for the Phoenix Mercury is that Alyssa Tomas did return back to the lineup yesterday. And she did get a double-double. We also saw the season debut of Natasha Mack. She was another player who was injured to start the season, and now she's back, and now she is rocking and rolling. This team in the Phoenix Mercury have a very balanced offense. They play with smart possessions, and ultimately they continue to get the dub. 93 Phoenix, 80 Dallas Wings. So yes, this for sure in a lot of ways was Paige Bueckers' night, right? She ended up joining a cool list. And the list that she joined includes Asia Wilson and Kennedy Carter as one of the only 3 rookies ever in WNBA history to score 35 points in their first 10 games. And so that's kind of cool. But what's not cool is that the Wings are now 1 of 10 on the season. But here's the thing. That loss yesterday was not on Paige Bueckers. No, it was not. Because if you watched the game, you saw the issues with the Dallas Wings. And I truly believe that this team is a better team on paper than they are playing like. You got players like Luisa Geisel-Sorter, who played pretty well. You know, she had an efficient 10 points. However, remember, she is heading over to Eurobasket, so she will not be with this team. Tierra McCowan is already gone, and you know we're gonna see Geisel-Sorter end up leaving, and so there's gonna be a hole there with the points and whatnot that she brought yesterday. And Dallas as a whole, they're just having a hard time winning games because when you have a player like an Rickea Jackson go 2 for 10 from the field, you're probably going to lose. When you have your entire bench, I'm talking Nalissa Smith, Maddie Segrist, Kayla Charles, Isaiah James, JJ Kennerly, when those bench players combine for 11 points in the entire game, you're going to lose. It doesn't matter how many 30-plus point games that Paige Bueckers has if everybody else can't step up. In the future, I think what I'll do is I'll have to do a play-by-play breakdown of their offense, because some of the offensive sets they run, I'm just like, what are you doing? Because it feels like in a lot of instances, they're actually physically getting in the way of other players making a play or being successful. It's very, very interesting, the way they run offense. And in my opinion, there is a way to rearrange your offensive sets even with the same players, and see a better result. Now, of course, this team needs to do a better job defensively. Absolutely. However, I think that some of the offensive woes are fixable in ways that the defensive issues are not. And so, or easier to fix, I should say. And so I'll probably be doing that sometime soon, because just watching that game, I was just like, OMG. Wow. Like, again, Rickea is one of the best scorers in the W, right? She's been in the league for a long time. We all know how great of a scorer Rickea is. However, you can't just jack up shots, right? There is talent on this team. It's just not enough. Well, not enough for the offensive sets that they're running. They got to change their offensive sets, and I think it'll be a whole lot better. But I do want to hear you all's thoughts about this game. Did y'all watch? What did y'all think? Let me know in the chat. But we do have an awesome super chat. Thank you so much, Ken, for the super chat. I gotta make this bigger. Thank you, Ken, for the super chat. Ken says, thanks, Quita. You're a kind voice in this biz of the WNBA. Keep it going, please. I will. Thank you so much, Ken, for the financial support. But yeah, I absolutely will. Like, here's the thing. I love games like yesterday. Watching several games at the same time and being able to then the next day hop on here and talk to you all about it. It is such a joy to me. And again, I thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Tulip says the Wings are cooked. Henry says, turning a new page in the W. I like what you did there. I like what you did there. But yeah, the Dallas Wings, it's their offensive sets that are really killing them. It really is. It really is killing them. Because some of the plays, I'm just like, what are you doing? You set a screen for someone. You set a screen trying to isolate a player to go one-on-one, but then you move in the area where you relocate to is like right there. So basically, your defender can now just easily play some help defense on against the other person. And it's like, okay, well, it seemed like you were trying to isolate this person and have this person be able to do one-on-one, but like you just got in her way. What? I'm confused. Like there was plays that I was just like, what are you doing? Like, are these actually the way the plays are drawn up, or is this just like what you're doing? Like, I don't know. It's very, very interesting. Shamika says, how can we get Paige in Chicago? Yeah, that ain't happening. That is not happening. Not happening. Tisha says, terrible play calling. It is hard to watch. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just watch them. Just like, what are you doing? Like, come on, guys. You have better talent than what you are showing. In my opinion, it's because of the offensive schemes. It's crazy. Crazy. But great game from Paige. Like, seriously, great game from Paige. And the reason why it fits, the performance with Paige fits with this theme is that, like, you know, there are a lot of people that were like, oh, Paige isn't scoring 20 plus a night and blah blah blah. Oh, she don't have it. She is not, as good as some people tried to make her seem and blah 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 blah. And Paige was like, okay, hey, sometimes I gotta pop out and show people. And that is what she did yesterday, okay? That is what she did yesterday. DB says, Wings coach never looks super confident. I mean, he's still learning. He is still learning. And I'm hoping that we end up seeing, some changes, especially in the second half of the year. Because remember, guys, do y'all remember how the Indiana Fever looked last year? Pre-All-Star break? Do y'all remember? Like, they were not looking good. They were not. And then during All-Star break and during the Olympics, during the Olympic break, they ended up transforming the way they played in a lot of ways, and then ultimately were able to make a playoff push. And so there is still time. There is still time to make adjustments and changes and all that stuff. And I'm hoping that Kurt Miller, who is the he's the GM right now, I'm hoping that he ends up doing a little bit more to help Chris Koklanis on the coaching front, because it's very clear that Chris is not totally confident, because again, he's still new. This is first year as a head coach. And so, yeah, still a whole lot to learn. A whole lot to learn. All right. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next game that happened yesterday. And it was the LA Sparks versus the Las Vegas Aces. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Because meanwhile, hanging out around Vegas, the former two-time champs, they were ready to get back on track. But instead, they ran headfirst into Rickea Jackson's breakout party. Guys, I'm talking 30 points, 7 boards, 11 of 17 from the field. And all night, Rickea Jackson was getting to her spots. In the first half, especially in the first quarter specifically, she was getting it done from the 3-point line. And as the game went on, in the second half, she was like, okay, let me show my mid-range game. And especially in the fourth quarter, she was like, oh, let me show how I can get to the paint and how I can score in the paint. She showed her full game yesterday. And it was awesome to see, because literally there was nothing the Las Vegas Aces could do to stop Rickea Jackson. And the best part about it is that Rickea Jackson was not on the island doing stuff herself. No, her whole team was rocking and rolling. I'm talking about Azurá Stevens, who had a 19-point, 10-rebound double-double. I'm talking about De'Erica Hamby, who again is playing her former team, even though she's been away from Vegas for a little while, but like still her former team, still probably a little bit extra that she gives when she faces the Las Vegas Aces. De'Erica, 19 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Like she stuffed the stat sheet all around. And you cannot forget about the player who was just with this team last year in Kelsey Plum. Now, Kelsey Plum did not have the best of shooting nights. However, she got her team involved. Yes, she was 2 of 7, which is not good. However, 9 assists for Kelsey Plum, 13 points in total. She did her PG thing against her former team because she's like, hey, we got to win this game. We played the Aces a couple of games ago and we lost. I don't want to lose again to the Las Vegas Aces. And they end up winning this one. 97 LA, 89 Vegas. And yeah, let's continue to talk about this because the LA Sparks, in my opinion, look like a team that is really starting to find their rhythm and starting to find the core pieces on their roster. Yes, of course, you got great guard play in Kelsey Plum. However, in my opinion, the best way for this team to be successful is what we saw yesterday, which is your post players and Rickea leading the charge. Because when you're talking about post players in the WNBA, Azurá and De'Erica are towards the top of the list when it comes to post players and efficiency in the W on the offensive end, right? And we saw that yesterday, right? The fact that both of them added in 19 points apiece, that's huge. And you got the second-year player, Rickea, adding 30. Yeah, Kelsey Plum doesn't need to score a ton of points. All she has to do is facilitate and be effective. Because you got your post players doing their thing. Plus Rickea, who, yes, is playing the small forward position, but, has a lot of post play ability, especially what she did in college. But, it was really, really, really good to see the LA Sparks do their thing. Because here's the thing, this team is 4-7. They've had some not so great losses, right? They've had some not so great losses, losing to the Valkyries, twice? Losing to the Lynx, losing to the Mercury twice, and losing the first time against the Aces. Now they're starting to get back on track, getting back in the groove of things. And that's good to see. Now the Aces, they don't go down quietly. They were fighting in this game. I would say more than we have seen in some other games. And the fight really was from two people. It was from Jackie Young and it was from Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young dropped 34 and Chelsea Gray had 28 points yesterday on 11 of 17 shooting. But here's the thing. A'ja Wilson really struggled in yesterday's game. Really, really, really struggled in yesterday's game. She only had 13 points yesterday. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, which in general, sure, that's pretty awesome for a player. That's pretty good stats. However, for a player like A'ja Wilson, for a player that her team really does need her to get 26, 27, 30 points just about every night in order for them to really have a chance, that's not good enough, right? But as per usual, when A'ja Wilson gets the basketball, she's getting fouled. And she was able to get to the free throw line a lot yesterday, a whole lot yesterday, and make some stuff happen, which was really good for the Aces. Now, what was not good for the Aces is that A'ja Wilson ended up getting hit in the face, and she got a bloody nose, and ultimately she ended up leaving the game. She ended up leaving the game late with a minute left to go in the third quarter. I saw her on the bench for like part of the fourth quarter, but then ultimately she ended up going to the locker room. She was out for the rest of the game. The team calls it a head injury, and we'll probably hear something soon about what in the world is going on with Asia Wilson, because this team cannot survive if she's out for games. Like that just will not work. But the positive for the Aces is the game that both Jackie and Chelsea had. That was, in my opinion, probably some of the fire that Becky Hammon wanted to see. Now, the huge problem with the Aces is that, sure, Jackie and Chelsea did their thing, but what about Jewell Loyd? What about Jewell Loyd, the player who you made the blockbuster trade for, in the past, right? How about that? What's going on that front? Also a thing to update real quick. Chelsea Gray was 7 of 13 from the field. All right, I think I said 11 of 17. 7 of 13 from the field, 28 points for her. And we saw Jackie Young shoot 50% from the field with 34 points. All right. Jewell Loyd in yesterday's game had 7 points. 3 of 9 from the field. That's not good enough. That is not good enough for the Las Vegas Aces. So Jewell added in just 7. And your bench was basically non-existent in this game. Your entire bench, I'm talking Elizabeth Kitley, Tiffany Mitchell, Dana Evans, Aaliyah Nye. They combined for 3 points. And all those 3 points was from Tiffany Mitchell. What are we doing here? What are we doing? The Las Vegas Aces are not going to be successful if that's what we continue to see, right? This team is a team that is defensively weak at times. This is a team that didn't really have a bench last year. They definitely had more of a bench, actually significantly more of a bench last year than this year. But this year it's like decimated. Like they don't really have people who can make some noise consistently. Again, they got talent, but if your talent don't show up, then what's the point? Now we did see the Las Vegas Aces make a change, right? They brought in Joyner Holmes, and she didn't play yesterday, but a part of that is they want more height. But here's the thing. You need more dogs on this team. You need more people who could just get in the game and get a bucket for themselves. And unfortunately, the Aces, they have Asia, they got Jackie, they got Chelsea. But besides that, who you got? Because again, we're still not seeing the Jewell Loyd that we saw 2 years ago in Seattle. We're still not seeing that. And defensively, she's a liability. So if you're going to be a liability on the defensive end, you got to show up on the offensive end. And we have not started to see that as of yet. All right, and let's move on. Let's move on to the other game where I feel like I was seeing a movie in replay. It was a cool matchup. And Erica Wheeler is like, you know what? The lights are bright. I'm starting to feel it. Okay, so give me the basketball and let me work. All right, the undrafted player that became the 2019 All-Star Game MVP. It was kind of like she turned back the clock and gave her All-Star performance in yesterday's game with the Seattle Storm. In that game, Erica Wheeler was number one in the starting lineup. I believe for the second game straight, she was in the starting lineup. And she did her thing. 20 points, 9 assists for her. And she knocked down 3 clutch threes. She made baskets left and right, especially down the stretch. And helped to hand the Minnesota Lynx their first L of the season. And guys, watching that game, it was pure chaos. That game was absolute pure chaos, especially like at the beginning of the game and towards the end of the game as well. 18 lead changes in this game. But in the end, it was Erica Wheeler's consistent presence throughout this game. It was Nneka Ogwumike dominating in the post. 21 points for her, 10 rebounds. She was doing her thing. It was Skylar Diggins-Smith, being able to both pass efficiently and also score as well. She had 18 points, 6 assists. And, you got a dagger 3 here and there. And you also, at the end of the game, had, in my opinion, it was hilarious, but Kayla McBride thought something different. But you had Erica Wheeler. You had Erica Wheeler's layup at the end of the game, which, the game was over. It was clear that the Seattle Storm was going to win. I think was it 5 seconds left to go or something like that? It wasn't much left to go in the game. And Erica Wheeler was like, oh, I'm going to go for this layup. and Kayla McBride got really mad about it. It seemed like she got really upset about it. This was a pretty meaningless basket in the grand scheme of things. But remember, we are in the Commissioner's Cup, and every point matters. And so, hey, if you can rack up an easy layup at the end of the game, do it. And so that's what Erica Wheeler did. And then, of course, Kayla McBride felt some type of way. But I will say in this game that it's not all about offense, right? I was talking earlier about all the offensive stuff that was amazing, right? Nneka and Skylar and Erica and yada yada. That was fan-freaking-tastic. However, Gabby freaking Williams is a defensive monster. The reason why, part of the reason why the Minnesota Lynx get handed their first L is because of defense. Yes, the Seattle Storm was bringing that offensive firepower and all that other stuff, but we remember how good this Minnesota Lynx team is. And in order to beat a really, really good team, you got to sit down on defense. And that is exactly what Gabby Williams did yesterday. Yes, in terms of offense, she did her thing as well. 12 points for her, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. However, it was her defensive firepower throughout the game that ultimately helped to do what this team needed to do. So yeah, that's what I got to say. Four steals for Gabby Williams. It's the 3 blocks that Ezzy ended up having in this game, and it was really, really, really good to see. Molly is right. Yeah, Gabby is she does deliver. She does deliver when it comes to defending. She absolutely does. She absolutely does. B. Harris says the Aces' reign is over. It might be. It might be over. All right, guys. In terms of the Minnesota Lynx, they're still a very, very elite team that did not have the greatest of games, right? Of course, Napheesa Collier is Napheesa Collier. She had 25 points. Yesterday's game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. But that perfect 9-0 record for the Minnesota Lynx, it's gone. And a huge part of that, in my opinion, was Courtney Williams. Courtney Williams had a rough game. One of her worst games of the season. Just 3 points. At least for her, she wasn't inefficient. She only attempted 1 field goal the entire game. But this is a team. She got the free throw. She got the free throw line a couple times. But this is a team that needs everybody to show up and do their role. And yesterday, while Courtney Williams was passing the basketball and whatnot, they need her to score. Courtney Williams is a mid-range assassin in a lot of ways. And yesterday, she didn't do that, right? She didn't look quite right out there. Which maybe it's that leg injury that she kind of suffered over the weekend. Maybe it's that. But yeah, it wasn't great. Yeah, Kayla McBride did her thing. Alana Smith, same thing. But like, you need Courtney Williams to be effective in the mid range for the Minnesota Lynx to win. Yeah. All right. Let's move on and let's talk about All-Star. Let's talk about All-Star, guys. Because, yeah, All-Star is here. All-Star is here. And today begins the first day of the All-Star voting. And so that's the thing. We have officially come to that time. WNBA All-Star voting is here. And if you all have ever asked, hey, why isn't this player getting more attention? Why aren't they getting more shine? Well, right now is your moment. It is your moment to change that, because you are able to vote for whoever you want to be an All-Star. It tips off today. It hasn't started just yet. I believe it starts at 2 p.m. I believe it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And voting will run for about 2 weeks. And fans, you can vote once a day, every day, on WNBA.com and on the WNBA app. There will also be 2 or 3, I should say, 2-for-1 voting days as well. It's going to be on June the 14th, June the 20th, and June the 27th. On those days, your votes count twice. So you want to do that. Show some love to your favorite player. And here's the thing. Fan votes make up around 50% of the All-Star starter vote. The rest is a split between WNBA media and players and whatnot. And if there's ever a tie, fans can kind of help to determine that. So if you want your favorite player to be on the court in Indiana for All-Star Weekend, the sold-out All-Star game, might I add, you gotta go out there and vote, because I just want to remind you all that you all can literally vote for whoever you want in the WNBA. All right, it doesn't matter if the player is injured; you can still vote for them. All right, it doesn't matter if the player doesn't play that many minutes; you can still vote for them. Now, should you vote for somebody who doesn't really play? No, but we saw last year that, like, the Indiana Fever, even the bench players that didn't get that many minutes still got high votes last year. And speaking of votes last year, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because last year the WNBA saw a huge spike in voting. Huge spike in voting. Caitlin Clark pulled in over 700,000 votes for All-Star. And it's like, her number alone is just crazy when you compare that to basically the list from 2023, right? In 2023, you could put together like the top 10, top 11 players, and they didn't even get 700,000 votes. And so, like, 2024 was huge. We also saw Aaliyah Boston get over 600,000 votes. Same thing for Asia Wilson, and then Breanna Stewart and Angel Reese rounded out the top 5 for last year. So, hey, let's get these numbers up higher than they were before. and let's make some stuff happen. So you can start to vote later today. You can vote for up to 10 players per ballot. That's 4 guards, 6 front court players, and it doesn't matter about the conference, okay? Doesn't matter about the conference. So that is something to note. All right, guys, that's it. A fun part that's actually kind of new this year is that the WNBA is also having a sweepstakes where a lucky fan is going to win a trip to Indianapolis for All-Star Weekend. So that'll be kind of cool. So go on the WNBA website and insert into that sweepstakes. That'll be pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. Make sure to vote. Voting starts later today. And also a thing to note is that we're back with the captain's format when it comes to the All-Star break. So that means 2 players with the most fan votes will be named team captains, and it would be to select their teams. Last year that did not happen because last year it was WNBA versus Team USA. So that is something to note, guys. All right. Hopefully that all makes sense. But yeah, the days, the 3, I see somebody asking for me to repeat those dates. The dates that people can have the 2-for-1 is June the 14th, June the 20th, and June the 27th. All right. Okay. That's what we got. That is the stream for today. I do want to thank you all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button for more content all about women's basketball. Thank you. Make sure to vote for your favorite players to be an All-Star, and also don't just vote on your favorite players, maybe a couple of votes for your favorite players, but also vote for truly who you think are the best players so far in the WNBA right now. Because we also want to make sure that this is the opportunity to recognize some of the great players who are doing their thing and not getting enough attention. So vote for players who are rocking and rolling when it comes to the game of the WNBA. All right, that is the news for today. Also, I do just want to show you all the viewership for last year. Last year, we saw 3.4 million viewers for WNBA All-Star, the All-Star game, which was huge. That was over 305% over last year, over 2023. This was the most viewed ever All-Star game. And can we make that better? Can we do bigger and better this year? I'm curious. I think we can. I think the fans will show up, both in person because of course it's sold out, and also for viewership. So can we get to 4 million this year? Can we get to 4 million when it comes to viewership? I think that would be pretty amazing. All right, guys. I will see y'all in the next one. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me, and I'll see y'all soon. See you tomorrow. All right. Bye.